The Philippines is buzzing with shock and curiosity. Residents near Subic Bay witnessed something massive, one of the U.S. military's most powerful transport aircraft, the C-17 Globemaster III, landing right on their doorstep. But this wasn't just a routine landing, it was part of Balikatan 24, the annual joint military exercise between the United States and the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP. And this year's exercises carry far more weight than usual. With rising tensions in the Indo-Pacific, disputes in the South China Sea, and increasing natural disaster risks, the presence of the U.S. C-17 has sparked conversations across Luzon and beyond. So why is this aircraft's arrival such a big deal? What does it mean for the Philippines, the U.S., and the entire region? Let's dive deep. When locals first spotted the C-17 Globemaster III, reactions ranged from awe to confusion and even concern. The sound of its four massive turbofan engines roared over Zambales, shaking windows and drawing eyes to the sky. Many residents stopped in their tracks, filming the giant aircraft with their phones. Some thought it was just another cargo plane. Others immediately recognized its unmistakable silhouette, knowing it was a U.S. military aircraft. But why such shock? After all, the Philippines is no stranger to American military presence. The answer lies in the scale, symbolism, and timing of this arrival. The C-17 Globemaster III is no ordinary plane, it's a true giant of the skies. At over 174 feet long with a wingspan nearly the size of a football field, it dwarfs most commercial aircraft. And unlike civilian planes, the C-17 is built to operate in extreme conditions. It can land on short, rough runways, carry tanks and armored vehicles, or deliver hundreds of troops in a single flight. For the people of Subic Bay, the sight of such a machine was both impressive and unsettling. It wasn't just about the noise or the size, it was about the message it carried. The Philippines has been navigating a delicate balance between the United States, its longtime ally, and China, its powerful neighbor. Seeing the C-17 on Philippine soil reminded everyone that military cooperation with the U.S. is not just alive, it's intensifying. Subic Bay itself carries deep historical weight. Once the largest U.S. naval base in Asia, Subic was a hub of American military power for nearly a century. For decades, its docks hosted aircraft carriers, submarines, and warships. Thousands of Filipinos worked on the base, while entire communities grew around it. But in 1992, the Philippine Senate voted to close the bases, marking what many thought was the end of an era. That's why the C-17's landing in 2024 struck such a chord. For some, it brought back memories of the past, when American forces were a permanent fixture in Subic. For others, it signaled that history might be repeating itself, that the Philippines is once again becoming a frontline staging ground in regional power struggles. So, what is Balikatan 24 all about? This is the 39th iteration of the exercise, making it one of the longest-running military collaborations in the Indo-Pacific. This year, thousands of troops from both nations participated, soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Marines, working side by side. On April 12th, one of the highlights was the transfer of light tactical vehicles from an amphibious landing ship off the coast of Zambales. These weren't symbolic maneuvers. These were practical demonstrations of how to move essential equipment from sea to land quickly and efficiently. Why does this matter? Because the Philippines is an archipelago of over 7,000 islands. Moving equipment and personnel across water and rugged terrain is a logistical nightmare during both conflict and natural disasters. Training for these scenarios is crucial. Through the Joint Exercise Coordination Center, both militaries synchronized logistics, equipment transfers, and mission execution. This isn't just practice, it's a blueprint for how the two nations would respond in a real crisis. But Balikatan 24 went far beyond vehicle transfers. It included amphibious reconnaissance operations, simulating coastal defense in case of foreign incursions, command and control training ensuring leaders on both sides can coordinate seamlessly, medical evacuation drills, vital for saving lives in conflict and natural disasters, humanitarian assistance exercises, reflecting the Philippines' vulnerability to typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions, maritime security operations, directly tied to the ongoing tensions in the South China Sea. The focus this year was clear: coastal defense, disaster response, and multinational cooperation. In other words, protecting Philippine territory and preparing for humanitarian crises in the Indo-Pacific. So why all the fuss about one plane? The C-17 Globemaster III isn't just a symbol, it's a capability multiplier. Its presence means the U.S. can deliver heavy equipment, personnel, and humanitarian supplies to the Philippines at unmatched speed. Imagine a scenario. A massive typhoon devastates Luzon, cutting off roads, ports, and power. Within hours, a C-17 can land with generators, medical supplies, food, and even mobile hospitals. Or consider a military scenario. If a foreign power tried to seize islands in the South China Sea, the C-17 could rapidly deploy troops and armored vehicles to reinforce Philippine defenses. In both situations, time is everything, and the C-17 delivers. For Filipinos watching this giant aircraft in Subic Bay, the message was loud and clear. The U.S. is not just a distant ally, it's here, ready and able to respond quickly. To understand why this shocked so many, we need to look back. Subic Bay was once the largest overseas U.S. naval facility. For nearly a century it served as America's stronghold in the Pacific. But in 1992, after the Philippine Senate voted against extending the bases agreement, the U.S. military withdrew. For years many believed that era was over. Subic transformed into a free port zone and commercial hub. But geopolitics has a way of coming full circle. Today, with China's assertiveness in the South China Sea, Subic Bay has once again become strategically vital. The sight of a C-17 touching down there reminded everyone of the bay's enduring military importance. It's not just nostalgia, it's a strategic revival. One thing often overlooked is that Balikatan isn't just about preparing for war, it's also about saving lives during disasters. The Philippines is one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world. Typhoons, floods, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions hit regularly. In fact, every year, millions of Filipinos are displaced or affected by natural disasters. This is where the U.S.-Philippines partnership shines. Training together on humanitarian assistance means, when the next super typhoon strikes, both militaries can respond faster, more effectively, and with less confusion. During Balikatan 24, joint medical evacuation drills were practiced. This means U.S. helicopters and Philippine medical teams working side by side to rescue survivors and provide care. For ordinary Filipinos, this kind of cooperation is just as important, if not more important, than the military drills. Because it's not just about defending territory, it's about defending lives. Of course, Balikatan 24 isn't happening in a vacuum. The Indo-Pacific is becoming the most contested region in the world. Between China's island building in the South China Sea, North Korea's missile tests, and the constant threat of natural disasters, security is more fragile than ever. By bringing in heavy assets like the C-17, the U.S. and the Philippines are sending a message not just to each other, but to the region. That message? We are ready. We are united. It signals deterrence against potential aggressors and reassures allies and partners that the Philippines is not standing alone. In fact, Balikatan has expanded over the years to include observers and participants from other nations. This multinational aspect makes it clear, the Indo-Pacific security is a shared responsibility. For everyday Filipinos, the arrival of the C-17 brought mixed feelings. Some were proud, seeing their country at the center of a major international exercise. Others were anxious, worried about being caught in the middle of great power rivalry. Local businesses in Subic Bay benefited from the influx of troops and activity. Hotels, restaurants, and transport services saw a boost. But at the same time, some residents wondered, does this mean more military tension in their backyard? What's undeniable is that the Philippines is once again a key player in regional security. And the presence of the C-17 is a stark reminder of that role. So what's next? Balikatan will continue. It's already set to evolve into larger, more complex exercises in the coming years. The U.S. and the Philippines are also deepening their defense ties through the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, which allows the U.S. access to more bases across the archipelago. This means more American equipment, more joint drills, and more visibility of the alliance. For the Philippines, this comes with both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, it boosts defense and disaster response capabilities. On the other, it risks drawing the Philippines deeper into U.S.-China competition. The arrival of the C-17 Globemaster III is just one moment, but it symbolizes a broader shift. The Philippines is no longer a passive observer in regional security, it's an active participant. So when the massive C-17 Globemaster III landed in Subic Bay, it wasn't just an impressive sight. It was a symbol of history, strategy, and cooperation coming together. For some it was shocking, for others reassuring. But for everyone, it was unforgettable. Because in that moment, the Philippines wasn't just watching global events unfold, It was at the center of them. What do you think? Does the presence of U.S. aircraft like the C-17 strengthen the Philippines, or does it risk escalating tensions in the region? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into world events, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay informed, stay sharp, and stay curious.